welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another edition, another week of the GSL Season 2 Codes Round of 16 Group Stage. I'm, of course, your host, VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the people in the chat, by the chains that bind me here. Oh, why was their theme changed? Chains this season? I don't know, Poppy. I'm not complaining. As of course we are diving into this, and we have been casting the GSL Codes week after week here via replays. Of course, for those wondering, you can support the GSL via Patreon, and that is how we do get those replays. Exclamation mark! I think GSL is the command in the chat if you want those replays for yourself. I believe it's not just replay packs, but they also have like player interviews and photo shoots as well, so it's a lot of good fun. It's a really cool way to support GSL through their Patreon and get some great access to content as well. So yeah, you can of course support the GSL. We've been casting it for a couple of weeks now, and we're going to continue to at least cover the group stage. I know there are other events coming up and we have to make room for them, but for the most part I want to cover at least the round of 16 and the round of 8 at least. We're also casting a Home Story Cup. That is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I believe tomorrow. So yeah, got a lot of replays to go over. So again, because this event already took place, be careful of spoilers. No spoilers in the chat, of course, and there is a Wikipedia page if you want to have a look at the event itself. But again, the Wikipedia page does have spoilers within it, so be careful if you do not want to expose yourself to it. Otherwise, we're ready to jump in. We are ready to dive on in as we quickly switch our scenes over. Bam! We have quite a group before us. We've been having some amazing games, by the way. The highlight of last week was the PvP between Hero and Nightmare. They faced off a couple of times, and I highly recommend checking out the VODs. Hero versus Nightmare was insane both times they faced. And the week before that, in Group A, TY, not just TY coming back to competitive play, but TY looking good, and TY flaunting a style you don't get to see too often. For those wondering, TY, Taeyang, he was playing mech against Protoss and doing well with it. it was crazy, Pop. It was crazy. Mech in that matchup is something you don't get to see too often. So yeah, it was really great to see. Really great to see TY. Really great to see Hero and Nightmare. And now we are here with Group C. Again, Group A and B, it's a lot to live up to, but we have a Dark, SpeCial, Creator, and Gumiho. So quite some high caliber players here. We also casted the qualifiers. We casted the qualifiers of GSL. That was like a month ago. And we saw SpeCial pop off in a way. He was struggling a little bit. We casted SpeCial versus Solar, and Solar kind of had his way with SpeCial. The series was over in it was a best of 3, and it was over in like 10 minutes. It was a it was a very fast series between SpeCial and Solar. But in the qualifying match, SpeCial faced off against Scarlet, and it was a bit of a shame that only one could qualify for GSL, and it came down to SpeCial and Scarlet, and it went all the way to the ace match. SpeCial did come out on top, which is really impressive. I think typically, generally, I would favor Scarlet over SpeCial, especially because recently SpeCial has been kind of stepping away from the game a little bit. Like, he's been focusing a lot more on his personal life, on his personal development as well, spending a little bit less time kind of full-on competing. At least that's the impression that I've gotten, at least. So that's why it's really cool to see that he did make it all the way to GSL. SpeCial is one of the few foreigners in this season of GSL. I believe in Group D, which we're going to be casting next week, is the second foreigner, Australia. I believe Australia is also competing in GSL as well. So Australia and SpeCial, really cool to see at least 2 foreigner representatives in the GSL. And I wish him the best of luck, because this is a pretty tough group. Dark, arguably the best Zerg player in South Korea right now. I know Solar has been popping off, and I know Solar is kind of vying for that spot and has maybe taken that spot from Dark, but regardless, Dark's still an amazing player. Likewise, Creator, one of the best Protoss in South Korea, and Gumiho, the ESL Masters Summer runner-up. Oh boy, so SpeCial is going to have to come into this prepared. Very prepared indeed, as we are going to jump into our first series. As you may have seen in the previous scene, it is going to be Dark versus SpeCial. Oh, let's go, Bob. Let's go. Haven't had enough ZvT this week. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie. Also, I want to apologize as well. I don't know if anyone was here at the time. As oh, I do need to sort something out actually. Hold on. Hold on. I just realized I'm reversed for some reason. I don't know why. Gonna have to. Oh, I'm reversed specifically in this scene. Hold on. 1 second, just some technical issues. Where am I? Oh my god. Okay, it's not a filter, it is not transform. Did it transform? I can't figure this out right now, I'll be honest. Oh god. So I'm just gonna be looking in the other direction for now, okay? It's fine, Bobby, it's fine. It's this one? Hold on. Transform. No, I can't do it right now. I'll figure it out next time. I'll figure it out for the next one. For now, I'm gonna be looking away from the bracket. God damn it. But we are going to be diving into our first game here of the night. It is going to be Dark vs. SpeCial. Let's go. Let us go. And again, I haven't been lucky enough to cast too much of SpeCial in recent times, so I'm really excited to see what he can bring to the table, other than, of course, the GSL qualifiers, which we did get to see quite a lot of Juanito. And here he is spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood. We have the Mexican Terran player representing Storm Gaming. It is SpeCial. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. Is the local owner off? Oh, it was off. It was off, I promise. But I'll figure it out later. Thanks, though, Werehog. Thanks, though. Welcome as well. Einstein in the chat. 12 megabits or megabytes. Welcome. Kuro. Bienvenidos. As we are diving into this beautiful, wonderful ZvT, we can see SpeCial already going for his tried and true special opener. I assume, yeah, with 2 gases. So, you may have heard of the Beyond opener. This, I believe, is going to be the SpeCial opener, where he doesn't open up 2 racks. He opens up with a 1 racks here on the low ground, followed by a factory as well. So a bit of a greedier opener here, just to fully wall off, just to establish this natural in a safer position. It does mean that SpeCial is going to be less aggressive than your Beyond opener, as he's going to have significantly less Reapers to work with. So we'll see how Dark can handle this and how he can deal with the shenanigans of SpeCial. Again, one of the great things about SpeCial is that he's a very unique player in that he does come up with a lot of his own builds. He's very Gumiho-esque in that way, and you know, for a time they were on the same team, and you know, I theorized that maybe they traded some notes here and there when it comes to how unique their play is and how unique or individualistic their play styles are. So it is. There's that factory on the low ground as well, as we expected. Speaking of, I think the only other Terran player that really does this, I think Future, I've seen Future do this before, and I want to say Gumiho as well. Again, not too common, not too popular amongst the rest of the Terran scene. So the first Reaper is zooming across that. We do have a second Reaper coming up behind this, so we do see SpeCial trying to keep the pressure on and have some rat presence here to keep him safe. Back at home, Dark is going to be delaying his 3rd base, actually. Interesting. First Reaper does rock up, and oh, can we get a drone? We can. Good start here for SpeCial, getting 1 worker already. As he does dip between those bases again. Dark did delay his hatchery for a little bit here, just to, or I mean, I guess it's because he made those 6 lings instead of the typical 4. Does lose a ling as well, so yeah, not too bad here from SpeCial. He's going to be able to join forces with that second Reaper. Meanwhile, back at home, it is going to be that 1-1-1 opener, so a very aggressive opener here from SpeCial. Aggressive follow-up, I should say. So Reapers are forced back once again. We have a Hellion joining up. We do have no add-on swaps quite yet, just repositioning here to get the tech lab on the factory. Marine production is commencing, and yeah, I'm curious to see if we go for a Liberator first or maybe a Viking to kind of shoo away the units, the Overlords of Dark, as we get into the mineral line once again, and this time we get a couple more drones. Oh my god. 3 drones go down. Dark punished a little bit here for not making those lings earlier. He now makes 6 lings, but they are a little bit too late as the damage has been done. A really good start here for SpeCial already. Getting, what's that, 4 drones for 1 Hellion and 1 Reaper, gets the Overlord as well. Behind this is not going to be a Viking, it's not going to be a Liberator. We are going straight into a Medevac, so a very early Marine drop. Again, Gumiho does this as well. I believe this is typically to hunt down any stray Overlords. We can also apply some pressure to the bases, but for the most part, we are quite limited in what we can hunt down. But that changes now with the Cyclone. The Cyclone just adds so much to this drop. Gonna have to deal with these lings for the time being, and the lings are gonna get confirmation of the wall at least. Vision wise, they do see the starport, they see the tech lab as well. Oh, this is looking like the beginnings of mech as we are going for a Raven opener. Yeah, I love it. And if you saw their SpeCial, he actually started Cloak for a second. He started Cloak while the ling was scouting and then cancelled it, so hopefully forcing Dark to make some of those spores. We do get the lock on. A Queen does not go down. Clutch transfuse out of Dark. Able to keep that Queen alive. And SpeCial hasn't done too much with this drop. He gets 1 drone here at the 3rd base, but alas, he wasn't able to get a Queen. He wasn't able to get another Overlord. So good job from Dark to kind of minimize his losses here. To pull back his Overlords in time to bring his Queens together and deflect that push. And we are getting into Bio. 2 more Raxes are being thrown down. The Raven will help when it comes to clearing up some of this creep. We can also go for some auto turret harass as well. It is a pretty big investment, and it does slow down your medevac production, but I mean, I guess we did get a medevac first anyway, so we have at least 1 available. There we go, as it looks like we may be setting up for an add-on swap here. Meanwhile, Raven dips into the main base. Auto turret gets some damage done, but only gets 1 drone. Raven did reveal itself, of course. Oh, second Raven is coming out as... Oh my god. SpeCial, doubling down on the aggression. I think we saw this against Scarlet. So SpeCial is going to be harassing with auto turrets, and because of the lack of anti-air, it's going to be... Oh my god, difficult to deal with them. That's a lot of damage already done to that to that second Raven. Hellions are dropped into the main base. The boys are being pulled, but a lot of drones are getting roasted. In comes that auto turret to support as well, but the Hellions get cleaned up. 4 Hellions for 5 drones, still worth it here for SpeCial. Unfortunately, that means that he won't be able to continue to harass though. We can see that the Raven has to come back home, has to, you know, be repaired. Medevac did survive, but without those Hellions, that's going to be the end of the aggression for now. Dark, he can focus on saturating his bases, he can just calm things down, get into his lair, Baneling speed, 1-1. This is the just, you know, straight up Ling Bane here from Dark, nothing too fancy. Just being safe by delaying 1-1 in favor of Baneling speed. And just a safe opener here from Dark as he gets into his upgrades. So far, Dark has just been the defender. He's just been trying to take and just take all these hits from SpeCial. Trying to absorb them, and for the time being he has, but I would say that SpeCial has been successful in dealing the damage he's been looking for. As the auto turret comes back in, once again good target firing out of SpeCial. 3 more drones go down, 15 in total. Drop is gonna get shooed away. Dark still struggling to recover economically. Interesting, so Dark isn't going for any anti-air yet. He's going straight into an infestation pit for either Vipers to help with the Ravens, to help with the Medevacs, or even get ready for Ultra play. I'm curious if Dark intends to go Ling Bane into Ultra, or play things out safe and go Ling Bane into Hydra Lurker. For now, we'll have to wait and see. And Baneling speed a couple of seconds off from finishing. SpeCial not finding too much damage with this drop. Back at home, getting his 3rd base up and running. Again, his 3rd was delayed because of the more aggressive follow-up that SpeCial had. But he, I would say, is now ahead economically compared to Dark. Oh, does shave off some of those lings. The push has been spotted. Dark is fully aware. He doesn't have too much creep threat here on the left-hand side, and as he gets ready for his defense, he goes for a massive link counterattack, but no, SpeCial has plenty to defend. SpeCial holds on back at home. We see Dark trying to dive on top of that tank. We do get a full surround. Good at target firing on the Banelings. Ooh. The Banelings, they don't find the connections that they were really looking for. Once again, really good target firing. Not a single Baneling connects with the Marines. Does Dark have enough to hold on? He did bring down the tanks. At the same time, looks like there was a Baneling run by across the map. 12 SCVs went down. Can we hold on long enough for those Banelings? Up! Oh, we barely can. But Dark is still hurting. Thankfully, he was able to, hinder the economy of SpeCial somewhat in the middle of that attack. But SpeCial is not slowing down. He kept the majority of his Marines alive, and this base is going to go down. At the same time, another link counterattack, but there are tanks back at home. Oh, the friendly fire is brutal, and a lot of SCVs are going to go down. Meanwhile, Dark taking a backup fourth base, but this fourth, it's taking a while to get up and running. Again, if it wasn't for these link counterattacks, then Dark would be in a pretty terrible position. But SpeCial, he doesn't have the best economy behind this, so he's having a harder time reinforcing. Here we go. We see Dark trying to collapse on the tanks. We have Link Bane on the low ground and on the high ground. Looks like Dark is barely going to hold on, but just barely. Meanwhile, we have another jump here on the right-hand side. Dark, you can see he is falling apart. He still hasn't been able to mine from this fourth base in oh so long. Adrenal glands are on the way, sure, like we have our hive, but we can't really make use of it. SpeCial has just been trading so damn efficiently, and sure, he's been taking some blows to his economy, and that's a lot of SCVs following a worker. His economy may not be amazing, but it's better than Dark's, and that's all that matters. As the Liberators rock up, and once again, mining is denied here at the fourth base. SpeCial about to max out. Dark struggling to keep up. Oh, the Bard Banes! Up! Oh my god. Let's go! No! We missed them! We missed the Banes! Oh my god, they were almost perfect. They were almost beautiful. It was a great setup from Dark, but no payoff. Like, those are the things that Dark needs to do to come back in this game, but it just may not be enough. Another base is going down. Dark being contained to only 3 hatcheries. He is being choked out. Fourth base goes down. Dark, these link counterattacks not finding anywhere near as much damage. SpeCial, he's ready for it back at home. He's sending reinforcements across the map. He's just snowballing out of control. He has too much supply. Decent Baneling connections here towards the end. Auto turrets are thrown down, and yeah, SpeCial, he just had so much momentum built up throughout this game. A lot of this did come down to the early game harass. If you remember, 15 drones. 15 drones went down to auto turret harass and Hellions. It was insane. And it was just too much to bear. Main base under threat. Banelings go down without connecting at all. We have Marines here at the natural. Another desperate link counterattack can maybe take some units down, but GG gets called, and SpeCial takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. Very nicely done here by SpeCial. Again, from the onset, from the opener, SpeCial was the aggressor, and Dark had a hard time minimizing losses. Like, every single time an auto turret came in, or the Raven came in for harass, 3 drones will die. And over the course of those couple of minutes, like, it really built up over time. The Hellion run-bys and the Hellion drops as well. It really set SpeCial up for a really, really solid mid-game there. And Dark was still licking his wounds by the time SpeCial showed up. I do also think that it was a little bit greedy of Dark to rush into the infestation bit when he did. Especially when he's up against a really heavy, like, 8 racks, which is what SpeCial was kind of setting up for. Dark, he was, I guess, he was unable to ascertain how aggressive SpeCial was going to be, and with that, again, just taking up a little bit too greedily did mean he had less Link Bane to work with. But I also shouldn't take away from SpeCial, because he had some great target firing, like tank target firing and Marines as well. In that first big fight at the fourth base, like, not a single Baneling connected. It was crazy. It was insane. GG, well played. SpeCial does take a lead in this series. And now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. This is a good game from SpeCial start to finish. Yeah. It was very well, like, planned out by SpeCial, at least that first game. Whew. And here we go. We're now getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Mexican Terran player representing Psystorm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is SpeCial. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing GSL Gaming down in this series. It's a best of 3. He needs to bring it back here and now. It is Dark. Oh, again, SpeCial looking so good in that first game. As a reminder though, he did go for the quote-unquote special opener in that last game, and I don't expect him to rely on it too much this series. As a reminder, it was a Rax into CC into Factory on the low ground. Yeah, I don't know how often he's going to whip that out. As I say that, once again, we do have that Rax on the low ground. Single gas is being taken for the time being, but he could go for another Factory as well. He doesn't have to go for the kind of beyond opener of 2 Raxes. Back at home, Dark going for a pull first, by the way. Oh my god. So this is looking to be more defensive out of Dark. It's going to be pull into hatchery into gas. So no fast gas geyser is what I'm saying here. With this fast spawning pool, he can get Lings out a little bit faster. He can get faster Queens as well. So again, this is typically a more defensive opener, but you can be aggressive. And here we go. 6 Lings are on the way. The goal here from Dark is to sneak these Lings out, have them skirt around the edge of the map, avoid the scouts, and delay the CC. But with this SCV Scout special, he should recognize how late this hatchery is, and he should keep the Reaper back at home. Here we go. The SCV does even come across the Lings as well.
Upgrade complete.
Lings have been spotted. All 6 Lings have been confirmed, so SpeCial knows how committed this opener was. And this Reaper should be looking to intercept the Lings, or at least stay back at home. We can see SpeCial trying to find them, trying to come across them, and yeah, with this SpeCial shouldn't take too many losses. As well, he has a full wall off, so his CC should be safe and sound. Should be fine. As once again, it is that special opener of the Factory on the low ground. Just like game number 1. Across the map, the SCV dips back in, trying to get eyes on whether or not his opponent is droning. We saw Dark actually pull that drone back and hide it before coming back in. So just trying to strike fear into the heart of SpeCial as he goes forward here with his Reaper. Especially with a pull first opener, it's very crucial to get a follow-up scout, just because it could be a roach rush. Like, right, there could be a roach war, and there could be a Bailey nest. There could be more aggression coming SpeCial's way, so he's just, you know, trying to get a read on things. Trying to make sure that he doesn't have to throw down a bunker or react or anything like that. As the Reaper dips into the natural, confirms the saturation, sees that his opponent is droning, and SpeCial should be feeling pretty good about that. As he's going for that 1-1-1 opener. Oh no, sorry! Actually, this is a 3rd CC before starport, so very different follow-up this time. If you remember in game 1, he went for the starport very quickly, which eventually led into Raven Harass, and actually medevac first into Raven Harass. We can see here that this time the starport has been delayed in favor of that 3rd CC, so a much more economic follow-up this time from SpeCial. Still going to be active with at least some of these Hellions. We can see Dark still just droning, trying to recover. Specifically because Dark didn't go for a hatch first, like, I would say that Dark is a little bit behind after the openers. So he's got a lot of droning to do. That's exactly what he's doing. Just droning up as best he can. Behind the SpeCial is going for a Banshee follow-up. No cloak, so not the most committed Banshee opener. And Banshees are just a really solid, safe way to open up here, especially when you're being economic. Against a player like Dark who is known for his roach play, he's known for his roach timings and roach aggression, Banshees are exactly what you want against that. We can see that there is no Roach Warren, but if there was, if there was a Roach Warren, then again, Banshees would be ideal defensively. Oh my god! As SpeCial, doing his best Spirit impression. SpeCial is being very greedy here with a very fast 4th CC. Ay, ay, ay. 4th CC before any of the additional Raxes are thrown down, so... Again, just a very stark contrast here from Game 2 to Game 1, where Game 1, SpeCial was hyper-aggressive. He didn't even have a 4th base in Game 1. He was just 3 base, 8 racks all in. Here in Game 2, very economic. As he's getting into the rest of his production. This looks kind of like SpeCial is getting ready for the late game, in a sense that Gressvan, as you can imagine, if you've been watching many games on Gressvan, especially ZvTs, it typically goes to the late game. It is very common, and it happens very frequently, where the map is cut in half, and you know the Terran player is slowly taking their 4th base, their 5th, and their 6th, and just because of the nature, because of the features of Gressvan, it can be really difficult to break a defending player and to really end the game earlier than that. So SpeCial may be looking to rush into that and just prepare himself, like, physically and mentally for the late game. Dark still catching up, gonna be taking his 4th, getting his macro hatch, just saturating his 3rd. Now the scary thing, it's scary in both ways. This game specifically, compared to the last one, SpeCial hasn't been harassing. Like, Dark has been free to drone pretty heavily. Like, he's been free to just, you know, saturate his bases, to tech up, to get his upgrades. Like, he's been left alone until now. Until now, finally, we're getting a little bit of Banshee harassment. We get 2 drones, which is nice, but 2 drones is a far call from the 15 workers that we got in Game 1. So, SpeCial is kind of allowing Dark to get into the mid-game in a much better position. But on the flip side, SpeCial as well is also getting away with really greedy play, so it's a really bold move, but SpeCial is basically saying, okay, you can do what you want, but I'll do what I want as well. And I'll, like, you know, cut my own corners and rush into the mid-game with a better economy as well, as we can see him just landing his 4th base as we speak. And it's very, very bold. He's got some cojones, Papi, trying to go up against Dark in the late game, but we'll see. As now we have our first double drop coming out across the map. Banshee going to be clearing up some creep. Lings do get caught out, so good trade so far here from SpeCial. Can he get a queen? Oh, he will get one. Very nice pickup. A queen and some lings for just a bit of damage. Or just for a stim, essentially. Back at home, 4th base is being taken. We have our 2nd factory on the way. Sensor tower, again, these sensor towers tell us that SpeCial doesn't really intend to push out anytime soon. He intends to saturate his 4th and be very defensive. Oh. Across the map, good target firing on some of those banelings. Doesn't lose too much. SpeCial, so far the job play is trading well. He's not really looking for critical damage, again, only with these Marines, but we can see that his reinforcements are coming out. He does catch the banelings. Uh-oh. Do we have any banelings left? We have a handful of banelings in production. Dark, not quite ready for this push, was not expecting it at all. I wasn't either. I love this from SpeCial. Kira does this a lot, where he's leaving his Hellbats back to support those tanks. There we go, the Marines are getting cornered here by the Lings, but without the banelings, the Marines are trading so efficiently. Eventually, this will be cleaned up. But again, overall, that was still a better trade for SpeCial. 130 Lings went down. We do have a couple burned banelings. They do detonate. Dark, it does slow down SpeCial enough, and SpeCial, upon taking those banelings to the face, he's like, you know what, I'm a backup. If it wasn't for that, SpeCial may have been able to keep on pushing. He may have been able to break this base. It's very possible. But SpeCial does back off. He's just gonna, again, focus on saturating his bases. He's working on 2-2, drilling claws as well. Dark has survived. That was a really scary moment, though. Like, SpeCial was fighting so well there. We can see SpeCial once again moving out with a bit of a force. He's leaving his tanks at home. He is leaving them back to defend. Just moving out with some Marines, with some Widow Mines. There should be plenty of Ling Bane here to defend his base. But again, SpeCial is looking to just apply pressure and to maybe just trade. As he is being forced back. Meanwhile, Dark has been able to establish these northern bases as well. He's run up to 74. A decent worker count. Not ideal, but not too bad. Dark at the same time going for a massive Ling counterattack as well. He's looking to get on top of some of these reinforcements. He even slips into the middle line as well. A Baneling will roll in. Ooh, a lot of economic damage is being done at the same time across map. SpeCial trying to also break this base, but there's too much here at home to defend, and oh god! Does take some Banelings to the face. 20 SCVs have gone down. This one Ling run by has done so much for Dark. It forced SpeCial to turn back around. He was in the middle of dropping this northern base, and he still hasn't cleaned up these Lings. 21 SCVs go down. Good mine hits, forcing out even more scans as well at a SpeCial. And just like that, Dark has been able to successfully drone up to 80. He's already got his hive, Adrenal is on the way. Dark has weathered the storm. And SpeCial's in a really awkward position. So SpeCial did lose 20 SCVs. He didn't replace them. I don't know if you can see, but SpeCial is maxed out with a super maxed army. So he has a very low worker count in favor of a much larger army. I don't know how intentional this was, but this means that this push is going to be pretty intense. Oh, but he can't trickle in like this. A good chunk of Marines already going down. Widow Mine shots are getting baited out as well. Not a good start for SpeCial. Takes a half-decent Widow Mine shot towards the end, but yeah, Dark is just pouncing on this army before it could really set up. Good mine shots, but Dark does force SpeCial back, and that super maxed army that SpeCial had, it's not there anymore, and now he doesn't have an ideal economy. He's going to go for a massive dude drop across the map. The 5th base is being denied. The drop has potential. There are a couple of mines in here, but the medevacs are being focused down. It's going to be a one-way trip. Oof. 2 medevacs to survive. Both players are hurting, but Dark has a very good economy behind this, so he can remax without too much trouble. SpeCial needs time. Dark was even able to borrow a Ling. Oh my god. In the midst of all that aggression. As interesting, SpeCial, he's still not making SCVs. Again, I don't really know if this is intentional or not, but after losing those 20 workers earlier, he hasn't rebuilt a worker in quite some time. Oh, okay, there we go. 4 SCVs are now being built. SpeCial now rebuilding his economy. Still trying to be active with this drop. Dark, though, is waiting for him. A couple of Vipers are coming out as well. They can powerbomb at these medevacs, and they will. Oof. Both medevacs go down, and that means that the army is going to get cleaned up.
Mineral field depleted.
Back at home, like, especially he's got a decent base count, but oh my god, and he catches some Vipers. One Viper goes down, not too bad. Not a bad pickoff at all for SpeCial. I'm worried just because SpeCial's army is really interesting to me. He has a very mobile, very active force. Typically, if we're playing for the late game, we should be working on more tanks than anything. More tanks, more bases. Like, SpeCial's being very active, and here we go. Ling Bane rolls on in. I love the use of the Changelings body blocking the Marines. At the same time, a massive Ling counterattack. The mines! good mine hits on those lings. But yeah, like SpeCial, he's making an army that wants to fight. He wants to trade. He wants to be active. Which is kind of goes against like the nature of Gressvan a little bit. It's very interesting. Goes against the norms that I assumed that he would be going for, right? I assumed that he'd be turtling, going mech ghost or tank ghost. But no, SpeCial, he wants to be very active instead, clearing up a lot of this creep. Oof. The problem, of course, is it's a very fragile army, as we see. A couple of Banelings do roll in. They take down the Marine Marauder. And fighting on the map, fighting on creep like this, it's so difficult to do, especially when Dark has a maxed out army, has good enough creep spread. Now we have a couple of spellcasters, not just Vipers, but also some Infestors for those Fungals. Do you have a double drop towards the north end? This is going to get some good counter damage done. Up. Good target fire on the drones. Ultras have arrived. Oh, we have the flanking Fungal as well. The friendly fire from the mines. The drop gets cleaned up. SpeCial, again, being really ambitious with this forward base. It's going to be denied. I love that SpeCial, he's essentially skipping a CC here just so we can get a planetary on the front lines, just so we can gain some momentum or gain a foothold. Drop here on the left-hand side. Good target firing on those Banelings. But even against Pureling, it's still not enough. Shout out to that one Banshee that's been here the entire game. SpeCial with the restraints, not allowing himself to F2. It's been there since the beginning. SpeCial forcing Dark back. If he can get this planetary up and running, this is going to be a really good kind of staging ground to push forward here towards these southern bases. Loving this. As Dark has his 3-3, sticking with Lingbane Ultra with those Infestors as well. I don't think he has too many. Checking. Yeah, he only has one Infestor, so not too many Fungals are available. Now that the Ultras have been spotted, we are incorporating some Liberators as well. Speaking of, we do have a massive Lingbane counterattack here. SpeCial is in position to defend. Is holding on. I appreciate that SpeCial is also scanning ahead of time as well. Borrowed Banelings have been already shown in this game. Doesn't want to get caught out. And a good kind of control with the army overall, just tanking those Banelings with those Marauders, but again, he still will get cleaned up. At the same time, it looks like SpeCial may find a base, but he also may lose the base. Ultras are in position back at home. There are Ultras across the map as well. SpeCial, he can't defend, he can't attack at the same time. 16 SCVs go down. The third base has been broken, and Dark is even trying to break into the natural. Again, SpeCial's army isn't really designed to defend. Banelings, they roll on in, they take down the planetary, and SpeCial has been spread too far thin. And SpeCial is now falling apart at the seams. The army in the natural may be cleaned up, but it looks like the center base is going to go down as well. There just isn't enough repairs. Oh my god, we even laid a Fungal! Oh. GG gets called, and Dark will tie up the series 1-1, forcing the ace match. GG. Oh my god, SpeCial with a very interesting playstyle on Gressvan. I appreciate it just because it's very common. It's very common for all players, really. Even players like Björn and Maru and Cure. They embrace the late game on Gressvan. They take their bases, they turtle up, and they go for a more cost-efficient army. Very cost-efficient army with ghosts, with tanks, with liberators, with Thors. SpeCial had a really unique kind of outlook on Gressvan, where initially he was very economic, he was very greedy, but once he got his 4th base up and running, then he was just very active with Marine Marauder. And there was a moment where he almost broke Dark, if you remember. It was that moment when Borrowed Banelings connected with SpeCial's army. If it wasn't for that, maybe SpeCial would have taken down a base and gotten a little bit more momentum. But in general, SpeCial with a very active army, and it's an army that's designed to just be in the face of Dark constantly, not so much defending back at home. And we saw that against the Lingbane Ultra, SpeCial was kind of struggling to defend his 3rd base, his center base even as well. Wasn't ideally set up for that, and GG, well played. We have an ace match. We have a game 3. Oh. And how is this going to play out? Game 3 is going to be taking place on Neo Humanity. Another map that is kind of known for its defensive features, another map that it's known for its split map scenarios, but as we just saw from SpeCial, he may just not want to play that style. Let's go. So we're diving into game number 3, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of a Neo Humanity, we have the Mexican Terran player representing Psystorm Gaming. It is SpeCial. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming, forcing the ace match and taking game number 2. It is Dark. So yeah, SpeCial with a surprisingly active style on Gressvan. Is he going to do the same on Neo Humanity? I do wonder, as he is going for that low ground racks once again. 2 gases are being taken. I'm feeling like this is going to be another factory on the low ground. Show us what you got, SpeCial. Show us what you got. As Dark this time is going for a hatch. Oh, never mind. I was going to say hatch gas pool. It is a hatch first opener, but a hatchery into a spawning pool into a 3rd base. Where are we going, Dark? Yeah, into a very fast 3rd base. We have seen this a couple of times from Dark, specifically on this map, to take advantage of the narrow choke points on how defensive you can be on Neo Humanity. He's going gasless. Dark is going for a gasless opener here on Neo Humanity. Now, the reason why this is very greedy is just because you have no link speed, you have very little gas to work with early on tech-wise, but because this map has so many choke points, because this map is so defensible, and because Dark likes making his queens, with a more mass queen style in the early game, Dark, he can get away with delaying link speed and delaying his gas. So a very greedy opener here that you don't really get to see on any other map. Oh boy, so Dark, you know, also showing us he's also willing to mix things up. Up! Up! Oh my god. As First Reaper does rock up here and almost gets a kill on that drone. Good reaction out of Dark. Almost gets us around on that Reaper as well. First Reaper almost getting out of hand here. He wants that drone, but he will be zoned away, and the Queen does pop out in time. Meanwhile, across the map, it was that factory before natural base into the starport as well. That starport is proxied. Oh my god, SpeCial. So this could be either for a Hellion drop into the main or for a Liberator. Meanwhile, the Reapers try to dip into the main base, but no, the Links are ready for them. Nothing but Queens are being produced here from Dark. Now, do you think a Hellion drop can get out of hand, especially if we don't have too many Links to work with? But no, it's going to be a Liberator. Okay, so we have a Liberator to dive into the main base. At the same time, we're going to have an abundance of Hellions and Reapers to try to push into the natural or the third. SpeCial, he hasn't scouted the third base, by the way. He hasn't seen the Dark expanded over towards the left-hand side. Until now, he's going to be checking. Is going to be confirming. But again, there are plenty of queens in position. We still have more queens on the way. Now we're getting into our gas mining. These two gas guys are taken at the same time. I don't know how I feel about this for SpeCial. Like, again, this is a very aggressive opener here from him, and it needs to pay off. Across the map we have Dark scouting, just confirming what is across the map. Roach Warren is thrown down from Dark as well. Liberator does siege here in the main, does get one drone kill, but only one. Roach Warren has been spotted. We can see SpeCial can't quite dive into the mineral line. Dives on top of that queen, doesn't get it. Two drones here go down. SpeCial still looking for a way into that mineral line, but Lassie just can't find it. Back at home, he's going for a bio transition. Raxes are being thrown down. Third TC as well. In a way, SpeCial, sure, he's doing a good job at containing Dark and keeping him on 3 bases, but I don't think Dark minds. And here we go, SpeCial just dives in. He doesn't care, not anymore. Does clean up those lings. Liberator does siege in the main. And we get into the mineral line. This SpeCial, he has to make this worth it. Again, a very big commitment out of SpeCial. It's 9 drones, and it looks like he is going to get cleaned up. He is cornered here in the main. He's not trading too badly. Gets a couple of queens before he does lose everything. And in the end, if we look at the units lost tab, I don't know how I feel about it. 11 drones, that's not too bad here. We have another Liberator rocking up as well. Jesus. Just doesn't end. But bearing in mind that SpeCial also had to delay his own economy to make this happen. And our Roaches are going for a counterattack. What do we have at home to defend? We don't have any tanks. We don't have much of anything, actually. Only vanilla Marines. SpeCial so vulnerable right now. He's in a lot of trouble. So far, good target firing out of SpeCial. He does get one of those Roaches. He's going to be able to get a second Roach as well. Very nicely done. Oh. So he's losing a bit much towards the end, but as long as he's able to avoid or deny this Ravager, yeah, he should be fine. And after this little skirmish, I want to say that SpeCial's in a better position. He's getting his third base up and running. Dark only just now getting his own fourth. That was a lot of gas thrown away here for Dark. 5 Roaches for vanilla Marines. Now that will delay the push of SpeCial. Like, his Marine count has been hindered quite a bit. And Dark has been able to drone up quite a lot. Despite losing 11 workers earlier, his drone count's still looking pretty solid. There's just a lot of layers that come into this. Like, because of Dark's opener, his upgrades are delayed, his lair is delayed as well. He's just now getting into his lair tech, getting into his Roach speed. Gonna be very Roach Ravager heavy, which is gonna be spotted by SpeCial. You see SpeCial trying to be active here with his drops, and he can at least clean up some of this creep. Once he does dive in, gets a Ravager. There's some Marines. But yeah, back at home, it looks like SpeCial, he has to take a much more defensive position. Tanks getting spread out. 1-1 kicking in, getting into 2-2. SpeCial is backing up. And now Dark is going to have quite a moment here to him. 1-1 is about to finish up for Dark. He's already cleaning up these rocks in the center of the map. He's going to have a really intense Roach Ravager push to lay siege upon the third base. And I don't know if SpeCial will have enough at home to defend. This drop play needs to get damage done. Gets a queen, gets a couple of roaches. Not too bad. Like, he needs to thin the herd. He needs to slow this down before the push does get across the map. But it may just be too much. Dark is about to max out. He was able to get away with all that droning earlier. SpeCial taking a fourth base now. It feels a little bit greedy. It feels like SpeCial is being spread a little bit too far thin. If he gets a planetary up and running, though, that will change things. It's not going to finish in time. Starport gets caught out. We need the planetary, Papi. There we go. Planetary is on the way. But Dark is here. It's going to bleed out a couple of Ravagers. Well, we almost have a full surround on the Bio Army. Boys are being pulled. Too many Marines went down earlier, and Dark, he's getting on top of the tanks. The SCVs as well. This is already too much damage. This is already game-ending. Yeah, Dark is going to overwhelm the army of SpeCial. Across the map, he does have a drop that's getting a bit out of hand. But SpeCial just lost 32 workers. It's too much. It is far too much. And especially with these Ravagers, we can bust into the natural as well. Back at home, the drop is being cleaned up. And Dark has broken the economy of SpeCial. Again, it wasn't a bad start for SpeCial per se. You know, he got a decent amount of economic damage done. But he did bleed out a lot of units over the course of the early game, over the course of the mid-game. Planetary finished just in time to die. And Dark has snowballed out of control. SpeCial is just trying to do what he can here in these last moments. Gets a couple of tanks out, but GG gets called, and Dark will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the winner's match. GG. GG, well played. It was a good performance, a good showing out of SpeCial, especially in Game 1, for him to force the ace match. He had a really entertaining Game 2. I really appreciate how he did play that out. But last in Game 2 and in Game 3, Dark was able to bring it all back in the end. Much more dominant showing here in Game 3 as well from Dark, getting into his 1-1 rush timing. Again, because of that gaseous opener, he was able to be so greedy behind it, and even though he lost 11 workers, those were losses that he could sustain just because of that much faster base, just because of the much more heavy droning that Dark was undergoing at the time. With that, Dark does take our first series. GG. And thankfully, it is double elimination, so SpeCial is still in this. SpeCial is just knocked down to the losers match instead. We'll be seeing him a little bit later on. He's going to be facing the loser of our next best of 3. And that is going to be Creator versus Gumiho.